everybody. Welcome to episode 127 of Games My Mom Found. Who's in a game where they don't actually show up to the last 5 minutes of the game with me tonight?
Welcome back to another episode of Mike Albertin Likes Bad Video Games. I'm Michael K. Hughes.
And I am CTI Special Agent Joseph Butler. Please call me Joe.
You're welcome. You know what I should open with? Who's the rookie who's been on 100, who saved the world 3 times, still called a rookie? Open this up.
Spoilers, actually.
Well.
This game is not.
No one cares about the story.
Before we get too far, 2 things we house cleaning with. One, I do want to mention that we do have a Patreon. We have a poll that is going for our first pilot test episode, as you just heard last week, and you're hearing again this week. For the whole month of June, we're going to have it open. You can go in and vote what our first pilot test episode will be. We're going to review the first episode pilot of a series. And there are 4 options, 4 cartoons. Definitely go. So throw us $1 and you can go throw a vote in and take a look at that.
Should be fun.
Yes, should be. All right. And that gets that out of the way. And then let's actually introduce what we're going to talk about, because this is my pick.
This is your fault, yes.
This is partly because I like symmetry. That's why we're doing this.
Uh-huh.
So 2 years ago, when this show episode, God, I should have looked that part up. In the early 20s, we did the first Parasite Eve game. And then the following year, in June, I'm like, let's do Parasite Eve 2 also in June. So now that we're in the 3rd year I've been doing this show, it comes to June, I figured, what better time than to do the last Parasite Eve game that doesn't even have Parasite Eve in the title and isn't really a Parasite Eve game in any shape or form, because the whole idea was to bring in newcomers, which I'm sure worked out super well. Yeah. We are covering Square Enix's The Third Birthday from 2010 or 2011 in America.
Mm-hmm.
For PSP.
Oh, yeah.
The system of choice of the day.
I forget how much I don't like PSP sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I actually have this game on UMD to the left of me. I actually picked this up years ago at a pawn store, I think. And I was so excited to play it, and I didn't go on to play it for another 10 years or so, or 8 years.
I own it too. I think I did actually beat it, and then I got it on Vita, and I beat it again, and then I beat it again for this. Don't let that fool you. It's not good.
And you say I like bad video games, huh? I just beat this once.
I played this back when it came out. There was an ad for it in Advent Children Crisis Core, and I had no idea what Parasite Eve was. So that was a weird first experience.
Well, I started with
no idea
2. I started with 2, and then I played this one, and then I played 1. So I think I did it right, because there's no way that I would have played 2 and 3 after playing 1, because it's the only good one in the series.
Oh, yeah.
1 is fucking amazing. 2 is... and this is...
2 is we're going to add tank controls where they don't need to be.
I played 2 wrong, so I can't really...
That was my shocked laugh. Like, oh, Mike played a game wrong.
Let's just agree that the bad ending for Parasite Eve 1 is a true ending, and 2 and Third Birthday didn't happen.
I don't remember the endings at all.
I don't either.
Remember, the end of 1 is you're running away from this thing that insta-kills you, and that's about it.
Oh, it goes back to the opera house, and everyone is mitochondria with Aya. That's the bad ending.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I vaguely remember what he's talking about, but that was like 2 years ago.
Then it just turns into Prototype.
Yeah.
Oh, and there will be spoilers for Parasite Eve, even
Probably
though
the series.
I'm sure we're going to make comments
Yeah.
about the first game like we just did just there. So, again, it came out over 20 years ago, so I'm not too worried. But I'll put that in. There will be spoilers for Third Birthday. Big spoilers for this game. But who gives a shit about the story in this game?
2 has a gun blade.
In the second one.
Yeah. And this one's got Lightning's outfit, which I did not unlock.
I think it's only available in Japan.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's not available here. It's only a download thing.
I thought there was a way to unlock it in this.
Yes, but you need a PSN using a code.
Oh, okay.
You'd probably hack it too if you played on ROM.
I did, yes. So this game is essentially
real quick. Requirement is that the player must accomplish at least half of all the feats on hard mode or higher difficulties. So you can unlock it with it. Yeah.
Okay, so this game came out in PSP, as we were saying, and this is technically the final Parasite Eve game. The whole idea that this was the reason why it's not even called Parasite Eve, because they're like, we call Parasite Eve 3, we're going to cut down our audience. We're going to take away people who won't come and play our game because they didn't play 1 or 2, so let's give it a brand new name and get those people in, which I don't think worked well, but that's why there is no Parasite Eve in the title. It wasn't a rights issue, it was a stupidity issue.
Yeah.
Because that's why people bought 2, even though it was the sequel. It sure wasn't that ad campaign that they ran for it, which I'm pretty sure I commented on that second episode before I joined the show that it was absolutely why I bought that game.
There is a shower scene in this game, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was the target demographic for sure in 2000 whatever, so.
So I was super excited to play this game, too, because I have never got around to this. I love 1. I did not enjoy 2 at all, so I was really excited to finally play this one. And so the way it plays, it's a third-person shooter, cover shooter, because again, another thing I found out while watching videos for research is that this game because Gears of War was big at the time. They're like, let's make a cover shooter too, except this is not a good cover shooter.
Mm-hmm.
When you play on easy, you don't really need to cover shoot. You can just hop around like an idiot and just kill things, or run around in a circle.
Not a good cover shooter, so it's like Infamous.
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't have a good time with the cover shooting in this game. Like, I didn't really go behind cover a lot, because at least in easy, I didn't have to. I could usually stay upright and still take people out without too much trouble as a third-person shooter.
Yeah, until you get to some of the crappier enemies.
Later in the game.
There were even some bosses and enemies, like, I didn't even see the point in, like, covering, because they just run up to you and slap you.
And destroy your cover.
Yeah, and destroy your cover.
Or grab you, and then you have to jump into somebody else. So the story of this game is it takes place, apparently Aya Brea, this was irritating me a lot, so I got to get this out. She's 38 when this game takes place.
It's Aya Brea.
Okay. I pronounced everything wrong. Welcome to Games My Mom Fun.
No, I just remember I listened to the first podcast, and everyone it's a PlayStation game, so there was no vocals, so it's Aya, it's Aya.
I feel like they say it both ways in this game.
They probably
different
do.
Points.
They're too busy calling her Rookie all the time to say Aya. That pissed me off at first.
Do they know? Do you think they know?
He knows.
Yeah.
A Revolver Ocelot wannabe, he knows that she is not Aya Brea.
Okay.
That's why he calls her Rookie. That's why she's in a cell. Spoilers. But the guy that you're talking to the whole game is actually not human. He is the one that's sending you on all these missions is actually considered what's called one of the High Ones, who are creatures that came out of what happens at the 0 hour of this whole event. He knows that he's not human. He knows who you are, and he's just roping you along for whatever reason I don't know.
Yeah.
So this game takes place years later, so all of a sudden you wake up with this character. She's in a cell working for some organization called the CTI, I think is what it is. Yeah,
the Crisis Twisted Investigation or something like that.
And I got really angry, and they kept calling her Rookie, and she had no idea what's going on. I'm like, she was in she was a NYPD. She was in this FBI organization. Like, she knows what the hell she's doing, and this is years later. What the fuck are you calling her Rookie for? And it really made me upset.
Yeah, it's really weird because, so I played the game originally when I didn't know anything about the series. So, going into this with no knowledge, you're like, oh, okay, you're playing the game new, you're new to all this, whatever. But, I know now, I know about Parasite Eve, and it is really off-putting just for them to be like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, let me teach you how to use a gun, Don't panic at the sight of blood.
It's really off-putting when you don't know where the story's going, because because of that, I actually watched spoiler videos because I was really upset. And I'm like, okay, I need to understand what's happening. So I knew what the ending of the game was before I beat the first 0 episode.
I'm surprised you found videos. There's 2 Let's Players that I've seen that played and reviewed the game. And apparently Square Enix does not want people to know the ending of this game exists because it's super copyrighted. They had to edit audio and footage and put filters over it. And I think one person was saying that oh yeah, I had to put 4 filters over it.
Huh. I wonder why.
It's a bad game.
Don't want people to spoil the twist before they get to it when they play it themselves.
I mean, you don't get it to It's also a dumb twist. So I have to go a little bit into Parasite Eve 2 and Parasite Eve 1 spoilers. So the thing that you find out later in this game, which they don't tell you, I think to the very end, the final boss. I think no, you won't find out to the very end of the game.
Yeah. Who
you actually are. That you're actually Maya, who's the little girl that she saved in the end of Parasite Eve 2. Who I don't know why, but when they gunned down Aya at her wedding day, Maya jumps into her body, and by her jumping into her body is what changed the future. She jumps in the body in 2010, I think it is. This game takes place in 2012, and then the Twisted, which are these weird monsters, are born out of this fusion of her jumping into Aya. Aya then is lost to time, they think, for 2 years, and Maya thinks she's Aya and running around as her, but has no memory.
They do not explain why the police shoot up her wedding, like, at all throughout that entire game.
Okay, so it wasn't just... I did look a little bit, but not super hard.
I just know because I watched, like I said, I watched 2 different people beat it, and they're like, why did the police show up and just shoot up this wedding? Especially, like, if you know who Aya Brea is, like, she saved New York twice.
Yeah, why are you trying to... Like, that bothered me. Why are they trying to kill her? Which is what led... I mean, I like the fact that this game does take place in New York again. I like the fact that the whole game is you sitting into a chair, going back in time to when the Twisted first attacked New York and trying to stop it. I like that.
You got Jack into the Matrix.
That is what it looks like.
And for those that don't know, I tend to skip stories in video games, so that's why I'm not speaking up during this. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't really care.
No one has any idea what's really going on, because none of this is, like, the stuff that I'm telling you, or we're saying, none of this is explained to the last 10 minutes of the game. I mean, you do see clips of the wedding, you see clips of her starting to remember things, but nobody really tells her what's going on. Nobody, they call her rookie. They, like, you know, we were saying earlier, oh, you just don't pass out of blood. Like, she's this, you know, they don't explain what's happening at all. When you first run into one of the high ones is in, I think, the first level after you beat a boss, it doesn't explain who that is either. Just this creature that they think is human that's not human, I think turns into a monster. Like, nothing's ever explained. The Twisted aren't explained where they come from. They're just monsters that are killing all these people in New York. They don't know why they came. It's just like the locusts broke out of, you know, Gears of War just broke out of the earth. We don't know why they're here. I mean,
I do like the design of the Twisted, though. They're pretty cool design. I'll give it that.
They are.
Yeah, the basic ones remind me of the Bandersnatch from Code Veronica.
I think they're called Bandersnatches too, aren't they?
Oh,
I wouldn't know.
I don't think
or that was just you called them, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's so. Yeah, the enemy variation is fine.
Yeah,
I didn't have a problem with it until later.
Oh yeah, there's also there's a funny moment if I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, is there's a 6-month time skip, and it's not even fully explained. It doesn't even show what happens. There's just a 6-month time skip, and it's like Aya talking to, is it Medea, Media, whatever his name is, the Japanese guy from the first game, who's a completely different character. And it's like, oh yeah, the whole CTI team got gunned down, and it's like a single frame flashback, and it's like, well, I guess that happened.
And that's like midway through the game, and I was like, that's another thing with the story. It just makes no sense. It's so stupid that you're going back in time for this organization. They keep locking you in a cell after each mission when you jack into the Matrix, and you go back in the time and you take over National Guard soldiers and inhabit their bodies, and then use them to alter events in the past to change the future.
That's also a very fun game mechanic too.
Yeah, that's like the core main mechanic is jumping between soldiers to either use their weapon or to get a better angle on the enemy. Like, it's the best part of the game.
Or when they're about to get murdered and you don't want to die, so you're just like, screw you, guy!
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that? All of a sudden you wake up in your own body and you're like, why am I in the mouth of this monster? What the?
Yeah.
And you're just being eaten.
Being carried away by one of the ceiling spider enemies.
That happened a lot. I'm like, oh, we'll see you. I wouldn't go save them. I just let them get wandered off. Like, oh, well, they're screaming at me. More people come. But so that's the whole idea, is that you're inhabiting National Guard. But the National Guard they just see you as another National Guard, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't realize you're jumping through bodies, even though she says her name to somebody multiple times.
Oh, no, that was a twist. That was Cray. Like, yeah. She's talking to like a captain. He's like, "Oh, we're this way," and blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Haha, I'm Cray." And I'm sitting here playing, and I'm like, "I recognize your voice. Like, why is this a surprise?" And then he doesn't even have a boss fight. Like, doesn't he like every person you meet has a boss fight except for him? He just kind of fades away.
Yeah, because he dies to save his daughter, which made absolute no sense. Like, I didn't understand anything that was happening in the story.
I
like,
didn't
none
understand
of
that either.
It didn't make sense. I mean, it was so weird. I can't even really begin to describe how weird this game is. Like, I'm trying to explain the story, but at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, so many things don't matter. Like, Cray is one of the guys that's in the future with you at first, and at one point he goes missing. So then you go, and back in time when you're doing some mission, he throws off his mask and confronts you with a gun. But then in the future, he fades away when the people in the future run up to him. And I love time traveling stories, but this makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I love Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns for PSP.
Never.
That's what this game is.
I never played Lightning Returns.
Or no, I think it's the other one with time travel. I think the third one's the one with time travel.
Yeah, because the second one isn't. That's for sure.
Two's time travel and dimension jumping. Yeah, so you play as Sarah. Jesus, yeah. Sarah Farron.
I mean, I like time travel stories, but this one is just so weird, and it's just a mechanic. Like, I was really having a good time with this game because I enjoyed the basic combat of third-person shooter. Jump from a soldier to soldier, shoot things, fill up a bar, a yellow triangle appears, hit a button, zoom into their body, kill them real fast, and then keep going. Like, I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
What weapons did you guys use?
I used one of the LMGs that I had unlocked.
What's LMG?
Light machine gun. So it doesn't auto lock on like most of the other weapons, but it does enough damage where it doesn't really matter.
I only used assault rifles. I got a couple early on that I bought. I upgraded them all the way, and that's all I used for a majority of the game.
I'm curious how long you would have tried to just use the pistol had I not interjected, told you not to do that.
I wanted to, but it was so weak, and they give you so much ammo throughout the game. Like, there were parts where I completely ran out of ammo, where every soldier I could jump into had no ammo. That did happen to me a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, and the thing about these soldiers, you keep jumping these soldiers, and you have a lot of rooms that are just like an arena room, essentially, for a game way to describe it. You go into a place, enemies spawn, you kill enemies, and if your soldiers die, new soldiers keep running in to sacrifice themselves.
That's most of the game. That's most of the combat.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, as far as run into a room and fight all the enemies, and then run into the next room and fight all those.
Yeah.
I had fun. Like, I wasn't bored with this game. I was actually having a blast. I beat this game in like 2 or 3 days. I just couldn't stop playing.
I got stuck on the part where you had to use a sniper rifle to look for the enemies up in the air. I wasn't looking high enough.
Yeah, well, I had that problem too.
If you hold down square, you can look up with the camera. Yeah. I didn't know that. What I would do is I would hold down triangle, which is how you zoom into people, look around, see who I could zoom into because I knew how to move the camera, see the enemy, then jump back, pull out my scope, and take my little scope and look all the way up and try to find the guy. Don't do it that way.
I got to the point where I was just looking for the poison they were pooping down.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's how I figured it out.
Okay, that is a dumb part when they first give you the sniper rifle. Like, okay, look for the bugs that are shooting poison. And I'm just like, and other bugs keep spawning. I kept killing them. I'm like, I don't understand what I'm waiting for. And then I did that too. I had to look up a video, and I'm like, oh, look up. Okay.
Yeah.
Looking up was not something I wanted to do. But, I mean, it's fine. I know there's like story happening in between all this, like throughout the game, but like I can't, like normally I like to say what story is going on as we progress through it, talking about a game, but I can't even think of what the hell is going on half the time other than she just keeps going back in time and trying. I guess you're trying to save the world, but I don't think you ever have anything successful happen when you go back in time.
I think you learn more. That's all that happens. Like it's really weird because there's that whole thing where it's like, oh, the Amelie or the sniper lady ends up dying, so you go to save her, and it's like, oh, well, that made Cray die, so go save him. And then that whole thing happened, and
but she dies too in the future. At one point, she like dissolves.
Yeah, I can't even remember why.
I mean, there's people around you in the future and in the past that you run into, but they don't matter. Like Cray, there's this girl, there's a couple, none of them matter.
So apparently, like the girl, I love the opening too. By the way, the opening's great to this game.
That's where all the budget went.
Yeah, pretty much.
You reminded me of something. When I first heard that opening and I heard the remix of the music, because I actually played this game with headphones at first, I got so happy and nervous and excited all at the same time. Like, I was just like, oh God, it's Parasite Eve music. And I'm like, oh yes, it sounds so good. But I was like, and I was so hyped to play this game after that music opening.
Oh yeah, that opening's really good. What is it? The girl that the one at the concert, the one I is in, and then she gets banner snatched away, is supposed to be the daughter of the guy funding the CTI.
Did they ever say that?
Yeah, it's in all that. After you meet Medea, is that am I saying that right? I can't.
It doesn't matter. Creepy scientist.
Yeah, creepy scientist who's just Hojo, who wasn't like that in the first game. There's a bunch of articles and things you can read, and it has pictures, and hers is like the only other one with a picture, and it explains that, and that's why all the people in the game are important, because they all have something to do with the past.
Wow. Okay. Also, most of the story in this game is all in text files you have to read later on. I was finding out. No. I didn't read any of them. I was just watching videos, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to read all the text in these things you unlock to get most of the story." I'm like,
Remember last week when we praised BioShock for having all that stuff in audio diaries? This is this is the opposite of that.
This is very much the opposite.
Audio diaries are one thing where you can just press a button and listen to it. This is literally have to go in different menus. And to kind of finish up part of the story, so as you keep going back in time, about halfway through the game, the FBI tries to kill you. I don't know why the FBI tries to kill you, but they kill the people you're working with. They blow up the machine, try to kill you, and then you escape. Like we said, it jumps 2 years, and you end up with the scientist from the first game that he talks like this, and he finishes a sentence, and then he says other words, but he doesn't really know what he's trying to tell you, and he's really, really creepy and hitting on Aya. He talks like that. It's terrible. It's close to that, isn't it? Something like that.
That's it. He also refers to Aya as his princess.
It bothered me because it's almost like he has to know that's not really Aya, because he knows Aya didn't have the ability to jump into people's bodies.
I think he knew.
But I guess if you play on hard mode, she calls him a creep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some dialogue just on hard mode where she say, "Man, he's creepy," but only on hard mode.
Weird.
I mean, hell, again, this is what this game was. This game was marketed for certain people.
Yeah,
it really is marketed as like a. It's just easy. You can just tell.
Which is weird. The first one sure wasn't.
No, I mean the second one is the one that has the shower scene that advertised in the trailers. That there's nothing there, but.
The first game's art's pretty sexual, but it's not even that bad. It's like very 90s, like, Yeah,
it's nothing compared to the ad for the second one where she's got like the jacket on with nothing on underneath it.
Yeah,
like they know what they're doing.
And the second one in the trailer for the game has the shower scene that they were advertising. I remember my friend bought that game just because of that shower scene because we were like 13 at the time or something. So maybe 12. We were young, and I know that's why he wanted the game. And I remember he was all excited to show me that part, even though you don't see anything. And then this game, there is a shower scene, but you only get it on hard mode, I think, or you have to beat the game a second time. I can't remember.
I think you have to do all the feats in any given chapter, and it unlocks it.
I actually just looked this up because I wanted to talk about it. You have to at least restart a new game, plus you have to do at least 1 feat, and then you can get the shower scene.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind horny games, but this game is extra horny sometimes.
Well,
just everything in it. Like when you're at Mahita's, because I got confused. So the first part of this game, you just go up to a computer, which is the machine, and you would start the mission. When you're first in the second half of the game in Mahita's quarters, you have to just press start to start the game. I ran around that entire place, went to the bathroom multiple times where she wouldn't go in the shower, looked around, found the Santa costume that you can't take, and then it wasn't until I finally hit a button like, just hit start mission. I'm like, wow, that was simple. And completely confused. I talked to him the whole time and listened to his terrible voice acting. That's the other thing. Like, all the voice acting in this game is fine, but for some reason his voice acting is really, really bad. I don't know what they were going for.
I'm not a big fan of our main character's voice acting because she's such a badass in the original. I mean, it makes sense because it's not actually her, but she's such a badass in the first 2 games. And this one, she's like kind of whiny. Like, obviously, she's inexperienced, but like we said, she shouldn't be. And you don't find out till the end it's actually her, but it still bothered me.
I was only okay with it because I looked up and read everything after I did the first episode because I was getting so pissed off, and then I was okay. So I went into the game with the mindset that she was Maya, not Aya, and I had no issues after that. But you are right. It is really off-putting if you didn't go and read a wiki.
It's a very other M take on your main character.
Yeah, I don't like her being that way because she's so strong in the first 2 games, and if you didn't know that it's really a 12-year-old girl that went into her body.
16?
She's 12. 15?
16.
16? Okay. Still, it makes sense that you're not this battle-hardened veteran that's, saved the world twice. You're a kid.
Yeah.
Who was in a freaking research center for a long time.
I think you're a clone.
Probably.
Are you a clone? Is Maya?
Yeah. Maya's a clone of Aya.
Well, okay. So I don't remember Maya piloting any mechs though in this game or anything. Nothing? Okay.
No, I got nothing over.
Somebody smiled out there. Somebody.
I was thinking X-23 being a clone of Wolverine.
I was going Neon Genesis with that joke.
Oh, okay.
Because when you say a clone, when she said clone, the first thought in my head, I think I'm a clone now. From Weird Al Yankovic did a song. Yeah, never mind. We're not. So, okay, I forgot that she was a clone. I played 2 a year ago and I tried to forget it.
That's okay.
I really hated 2. You can hear all about that. So, I mean, the story didn't keep, like in most games, the story keeps me going, but the combat for this game is what kept me going. Because I did have fun. And, as we were saying, the enemies they have a lot of boss fights, and the boss fights irritated me a little bit because they can take a lot of freaking damage.
Oh, yeah.
too much damage for this type of game.
The best boss fight was the one where it had like the armored car in it.
Oh yeah. Where the boss eventually turns into a bunch of the stink bug flies, and you have to use the sniper rifle to find out which one is the real one.
Did any of you figure out how to do that for any of the other enemies? Because I got stuck for that. Because there's like the worm monster, and I tried looking up how to kill it, and it's like, oh yeah, just use the sniper rifle to look for weak points for enemies. And I'm like,
nope, didn't do that.
No idea how that's supposed to work.
I also missed that text too that you're talking about. I just shot everything till it died.
I remember I stumbled on something with spider legs. One of the legs was red, like it was a weak point, but it was so thin I couldn't hit it with the rifle. Like, okay, well, it's there. I just can't do anything with it.
I mean, that wasn't the battles. Other than the bosses having too much health, I didn't mind because you keep jumping through people, so I enjoyed it for the most part. I can't remember the spider boss. I know one boss where I had to go like above him. You had to like get his attention, then go above him to shoot his weak spot.
On his
that
back.
pissed me off.
That's one of the first ones.
Yeah.
You had to like run up a bunch. You had to hit his leg so he would get stunned. Run past him, run up like 3 flights of stairs. I got all the way to the top, and then I thought I was playing a regular game. Like, I can just stay here and keep shooting him. And then eventually he climbed up the building, ate me. So I had to go send another loser all the way up there to go die, to go fight him again.
You just run down the stairs, like partway down the stairs, and then swap into someone else, and that soldier will just stand there.
Yeah, the AI for this game's not good.
No, you're supposed to move the AI around and like some maybe fake RTS elements where you move people around because you can position people in different places. And even the guide I was looking at every so often would say, bring these guys, put them behind the cover, switch. And I didn't do any of that. I would be in a guy, run up to the enemy, watch him get grabbed, then switch him and watch him get eaten while I shot him with someone else.
They're pretty useless on their own too. Unless you're controlling the character, they don't do shit.
No, they're just there. I just love the fact that they keep coming. They keep respawning people that you can jump into.
Up until like the 5th episode where it's like, oh, hey, this is a suicide mission, so don't expect a bunch of people. And then like still towards the end, a bunch of dudes start swarming in.
Yeah, that's because the second half of the game when you're in present time in 2012. It's kind of funny that, is it 2012 or 2014?
2012.
Okay, which is kind of funny. That's supposed to be the year the world was going to end. So that kind of fit that kind of joke to me.
I missed it by about 8 years.
So I'm trying to think of other things with combat. Like you can hold 4 weapons, which is fine. You can throw grenades, which I did sometime, but I usually would hurt myself with grenades more than hurt the enemy.
I use the grenades a lot because usually when you use the grenades, it gives them the overdive ability.
Yeah. Overdive is great because it will just have an enemy's health sometimes.
Oh yeah,
it's wonderful. I would use it all the time when I could.
Did y'all ever mess with like? Oh, that's what the name of it I was gonna say. Did y'all ever mess with the sphere grid?
The DNA thing?
I got it to the point where I liked it, and I did quit messing with it because it wasn't doing anything else for me. Yeah,
you're apparently supposed to like hardcore like grind that thing out. I was looking at stuff for it, and some dude had like 9 different abilities, all were like leveled up to level 24, and I'm like,
oh jeez,
I'm never getting that done.
I had something at level 14, and they wouldn't go any higher. So when you overdrive kill something, you have a chance to get what are these? They call them chips, OE chips, yeah, overdrive energy chips, and you slot them into this 3x3 grid, and they give you different passive bonuses. But they didn't activate; none of them activated enough for me to really notice them being useful, I guess.
Unless you were like me, I got the rise ability, and so when you die at least once per level, you can at least come back.
I did have that one.
I did have that too. I never used it because if I was to die, I hit a button on my keyboard. That problem was fixed real fast. But no, I like the DNA chips. I would screw with them a lot. I also forgot to. You have to equip it, by the way. If you screw with it, but don't actually equip it, nothing happens. I found out.
Oh my god!
It took about chapter 3. I went, oh, I gotta equip this.
Once an episode. I swear.
Oh, he's something stupid. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought I would just equip, but I never got anything up to 20s or even 12. I did get some stuff like 7, 8, but I wouldn't use anything that gave me a negative effect. I wouldn't use it. I didn't really understand it. I don't think there's any type of really explanation of how that whole meter even works in this game. Like, they don't really ever tell you. Like they should.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I think the only other thing in combat where it really matters is the crossfire, where if you hold your targeting reticle on an enemy while there are other soldiers present, it'll fill up a little meter, and when it gets full, you can have all the soldiers shoot at whatever you're aimed at.
Yeah, stupid.
What soldiers? They either got stolen or they died already.
other lives for our character.
And it was early on when I one time got eaten and I forgot to switch and just stayed in the person while they got eaten and then got game over. I'm like, well, we're not doing that again.
I did that with the Kyle boss fight where you're in the helicopters, which did y'all notice they were called Bahamut?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the helicopter and he had like 25% health left and I was like, darn it, I guess I'll just die. And I went, oh wait, and I already did the game over. Yeah.
You can still switch off even if you do it fast enough before you completely, even when you're about to die, you have a little bit of time, like seconds to switch. Yeah. That part really got me excited for this game. There's a whole section where you fly in a helicopter on rails and shoot on this giant building. You just shoot these things in the building. That was really cool.
You shoot the worms too.
Because you can't escape. So the people with you all die because they blow up, but you jump in a helicopter and leave.
And the guy that you were is dead.
Yes, because you jump out of the helicopter when it gets destroyed and takes over somebody else.
I'm sure they'll be super happy to know that you fixed the timeline.
This is when you're in the future.
Whatever.
And the fact that like Kyle Madigan shows up, which is from Parasite Eve 2, he's the mercenary that you meet in the little desert town that became her fiance for some reason, even though she tried to kill him in the second game, if I remember right. He betrays you, but they got married at some point, or were going to get married, and that's when the whole thing happened. But he becomes one of the high ones, which is what the Twisted are, that are like mostly human. So the way that I took the high ones, for those that have watched Stargate SG-1, they're like the replicators, which are all bugs, but then they're the ones that advance so far it turns into human-like.
Yeah.
Hey, you actually got the reference?
No, I got that he's the one that turned to a high one, but...
I was maybe an SG-1 fan.
Oh, no. I'm a Star Wars guy all the way.
You're missing out. Me too, but... So that's kind of how I took it, that's kind of the way. But it was just weird seeing Kyle in this game where, like you said, he turned into a boss fight. That was strange to me.
The way it is I understood a whole bunch of the high ones, which ironically is just... The way I took it is, they're the people... Because obviously they're the people who were there when the happening happened, the time zero.
When she jumps into her body and then kicks her out of her own body. Yes. Yeah.
And so it's the four people. It's Cray and Sniper Lady and the girl who I guess is probably friends with Maya, I guess, because she was there too for some reason. They're banging at the door at the wedding.
Yeah, and then there's also the fake I keep calling Revolver, also that guy. He's also a high one. He's the one that's like the whole twist in this game. Like the last two chapters are where he finally shows that he's not human and starts killing everybody, even though you don't see him kill anybody.
Is he from a different game?
No.
I feel like he's from the first one or something.
Nope. Nobody is other than Maya and Aya and Kyle.
Yeah.
It's so strange because, I mean, I guess when I was researching it and someone had said like the whole point of this was to make this a brand new experience so new people would get into the series. I mean, they really did do that. I mean, I don't think they got new people in the series, but they really went a different thing for no reason.
Speaking of things for no reason, there's something else in combat we haven't talked about. I think you've been putting it off.
I haven't put it off. Yeah, I've been waiting.
What is it?
So when you take too much damage, you kind of lose some clothing.
How often? How often
happens.
Are y'all butt naked?
Oh, it happens all the time. Like you can repair it at the little save points in between fights, but it's gonna happen again. It's so stupid.
And every costume has like 2 or 3 versions of it where you have the normal, then it gets damaged. And she's already wearing skimpy clothing in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so when I was playing this, I showed my wife. She's like, "That's stupid." I'm like, yeah, it's amusing me, but it's stupid. Yes,
you take more damage.
There should have been an option to turn that off. Honestly, like there's no reason for it.
No. Yeah. It's. Again, it kind of shows the age of this game, what year it was, too. But it was just funny because at one point, because her normal costume is a pair of ragged jeans and a white jacket is the two that you get. And if you get damaged, pretty much her jeans are like not even booty shorts. Like there's just nothing there. It's like almost like a thong of jeans, and her coat's gone. And like I'm like, okay, this is other than the fact, and plus the fact I'm taking more damage. I'm like, come on now, this is unnecessary.
Part of her butt cheeks hanging out.
Yeah. Pretty much both their butt cheeks are hanging out.
It amused me the first time that I'm like, okay, it's not the kind of game I'm looking for right now.
You can apparently unlock another camera view that just follows behind her and stares at her ass the whole game.
I believe the costumes are the regular outfit, the one with the coat. There is the Christmas outfit. You get the maid outfit, which she can totally look underneath, which I hate.
Oh God.
There's
I got the maid outfit, then I turned off the game.
Yeah, I wanted to see what it looked like. I know what the other one, like Chocomungo or whatever, but it's just a Chinese outfit. And then there's the Christmas outfit, the bunny outfit, the suit, which is very much, I was like, oh, it's a suit. That's probably cool. She's probably like a bit, no, it's sexy. Never mind.
Yeah, she's got lingerie under it.
Yeah, and then there's the night outfit, which is just like her wearing armor, but then like there's no pants to it, so she's basically in her underwear.
And the armor gets destroyed. She's in a metal-looking thong type thing.
Really? Oh my god.
And there's overdrive suit, which is just black leather, and
that one looks pretty cool.
The lightning one we talked about, and then just a swimsuit with Casey Dukes on.
And even then, it's not even when you. That's the one that has the most revealing if you get damaged.
Of course, and you take the most damage.
Is that I want a new armor because I was thinking I just wanted more armor. I'm like, okay, I'll play through the game. I'll get more. I'll get because I knew this game had different suits. I didn't look up and realize they were all just sexy suits. I thought I'd get different armor as the game progressed. You don't get anything without beating the game. You get the maid suit when you first beat the game. You get the business suit to beat the game on higher difficulty. You get the swimwear, which is completely, you take the most damage. Everything that you get, all these are all afterwards. Like even the Santa suit, you find it in a locker where you can only get it, like we were saying before, on your second time through.
Oh, apparently that's not even the worst of it. So get this, to unlock that camera angle I mentioned, you have to beat the game 50 times to unlock the shower scene and the video log. And then you have to watch the shower scene 10 times in a row to unlock this camera.
Okay, this a real thing, or is this a joke to like something from like an April Fool's EGM thing?
This is on the Parasite Eve fandom wiki.
Oh my god!
Why are you so horny, Square? What are you doing over there?
Tetsuno Mora, you made Kingdom Hearts. Why are you like this?
Surprised she's not in those.
I really like this character. That was another reason why this game was hard for me at first, when I kept insulting her and calling her rookie and throwing her in a cell, and I was very irritated.
They really should have just like made you say, so since we're gonna get into like the whole towards the end stuff too, they really should have just like changed it and just made it like, oh, you're actually Maya the whole time. We just told people, like not even the body switch, just lied the whole time. I
would have liked the game more if it would have been Aya died or Aya's missing and you're Maya. Yeah. Not in Aya's body. Because Aya's only, like my joke when I opened up this episode, Aya's only in the last 5 minutes of this game.
Oh yeah. How'd you feel about so are we like at the end of this game finally?
I'm trying to think there's anything else. I mean, there's boss fights. We don't really need to go. We talked about the Jeep. We talked about the helicopter.
There's other enemies we could talk about.
And the boss. I do want to talk about a couple of the bosses near the end, but you gotta go wherever.
Did y'all like the final boss? That final segment of switching between your friends' bodies?
That's kind of cool. They're just other bodies. They don't do anything special.
It's very Square Enix.
But it's your people that you're going into. I mean, at first, I didn't know you're supposed to die, so I was just shooting all the bodies and reloading save stages and not taking damage. And then I looked online, like, just die. I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, as I told the story before, I'm notorious for that kind of thing. When I first played Mega Man X and you fight Vile and I had Game Genie on, I fought Vile for 30 minutes. He just wouldn't die. So I'm notorious for stuff like that.
So you beat this game with the power of friendship? That's what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's accurate, yes. She uses the people that had been around her who give their body up so she can jump into different bodies to fight Revolver Ocelot, who was your mentor in the beginning of this game, and then now he's the weirdest thing because his top half splits in half. He's like Mr. Fantastic trying to beat you with stuff.
That's like the only really Parasite Eve thing from this game is like I like his like contorting and like shooting bullets out of his body. It's pretty cool.
Because they always have like weird enemies, but usually they're twisted versions of normal animals. Like in the first one, you're fighting giant rats. And 2 had the weird dog things.
3
These are just necromorphs from Dead Space.
Yeah, they're not as cool. They're not monsters. They're not like creatures coming from other creatures. Like not animals turning into monsters, I should say, to be accurate. Yeah. And even 2 had that. Most of the enemies you fight in 2 are animals that were transformed. And yeah, you're right. This game, they're so different. Well, they're the twisted. There's giant tentacles everywhere that kind of came out of the ground and are destroying the buildings.
I think the thing I hated most were like the banana split enemies that I was calling them. They're like these quadruped animals that kind of split at the top. They have like this hump on top and they split and that's where the head comes out and that's what you have to shoot.
Those are annoying.
Yeah, because they go back into their shell and regenerate health and
teleport.
Yeah,
and shoot bombs at you.
Yeah.
Oh, we should talk about the spider that we mentioned briefly throughout the episode there. So there are rooms that you go in, I think they're called stalkers, but they come on the ceiling and they will go down. They shoot these spikes out. These spikes turn into big balls and then will hit you and they'll kind of stun you sometimes and they'll grab your character that you're playing as and they'll just pull them up and just take them away and open a portal and just take them somewhere else. You don't want to still be in that body when that body goes through that portal, by the way. Game over.
Yeah.
I did that once just to see what would happen.
Also, all the soldiers have the same Wilhelm scream of like dying. So I had to get used to that after a while.
So many soldiers. Oh. There's so many people you kill. So I mean, you'd have to jump from body, but they were just really creepy enemies too.
Yeah.
There was only 1 or 2 points in this game where you could not jump into anybody else. And this game also has checkpoints too throughout where you'll run through an area, you go through a bunch of rooms, and you'll get into a safe room with a bunch of guys just sitting there. You can refill your ammo, you can upgrade your weapons, you can change weapons, which I never did. You can change costumes probably, and then you can continue on.
Did you ever upgrade any of the weapons, either y'all?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, as you gain experience with using each type of weapon, it just takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
You can unlock different parts to swap out.
But you're supposed to beat this game 50 times, Mike.
Well, you beat it 10 times, you unlock infinite ammo.
I mean, to me, that just shows you the ridiculousness of this game. Where they like, who the hell is going to beat a game 50 times? Something like this. I mean, like this is not your 10-minute, hour game. This is not a roguelite where you just keep playing it because it's quick and easy.
Well,
quick.
The idea was supposed to be, because it was supposed to be a PSP game, like they always advertise, like, oh yeah, you can just take this with you whenever you're bored, you could take it on the train ride or the bus station or the bus ride or, play it at lunch.
I wouldn't want to be seen playing this game in public.
One of the things I thought was it's something that I really like in video games and I really hate if it's pulled off well. It was pulled off well in the beginning up until it got annoying, the Reaper.
Man, I'm not a fan of any enemy that you can't kill, you just have to run away from.
If it's done right, it can be done really well. This one wasn't done. It was done okay.
Yeah, I guess Dead Space was alright when you destroy it with like an afterburner or whatever. That was cool.
Or you freeze it or something, throw it into space.
Yeah.
That was a cool part.
Doesn't RE4 have something like that?
Yes, with your generators.
Oh, God.
Hey, guess what? You get to play that too.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yay. I mean, that game's good, don't get me wrong, but...
Games are great.
Better than this crap. This game does continue the whole horror vibe of the first two.
Kind of. I was just thinking that when you compared to the RE4, this is a pure action game. It's not even Dead Space levels of horror.
It's a third-person shooter.
Yep.
It's action. Where the first one I consider horror RPG, the second one I just consider survival horror, and the third one I consider action horror. I mean, it's very much like you said before we talked about this. You're like, it's an action game.
Oh yeah, through and through. It's a cover shooter.
Not really, but yeah, sure, okay. Oh, the one part that before we get to the ending that really pissed me off when you get chased by the Reaper for the first time. The Reaper is an enemy. When you first see him, you cannot hurt him. He kills you like pretty much instantly. And if you go left, you're done. There is no, you cannot, because I played the save states. I was able to screw around. Left is death. I had to literally die and reload and go right, and I was fine.
It's a throwback to the end of the first game. Because I remember running from that thing and then getting towards the end and taking a wrong turn and just dying, having to start over.
You mean the baby?
Yeah. If it touches you, it's automatic death. And you just got done through that whole fight.
Yep.
That happened to one of my co-hosts, by the way, when we did that episode. I'm pretty sure they went left. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's in the recording back then. Yeah, I'm not going to go any farther with that comment, but that's where we're going to go. Okay, I forgot that was that. But we were talking about like the ending. So like I like the final fight. So the final episode of this game is very quick. So you beat that guy where you end up jumping into your friends' bodies, and you fight the same guy all over again, but you fight in liberation mode. We haven't talked about it all in this episode yet.
Oh, yeah.
So throughout this game, you have a liberation meter, which is from the first two games. It was liberation. The second game had it for sure, where you build up this meter. When the meter builds up, because there are not many buttons on the PSP, they had to do something creative where they have you hit triangle and circle together, and she'll go into like a limit break mode. And she shoots really fast. She can move fast. Infinite ammo in her pistol. She pulls out 2 pistols.
She gets 2 guns.
2 guns,
Two
bitch.
And you can then jump into them really fast, or a lot faster, and do a ton of damage when you overdrive to the enemies. The problem with the mode is it goes away in like 7, 8 seconds. It's really quick.
Yeah. And when you...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think it goes away faster when you jump in enemies.
Yeah, like, it continues to tick down while you're overdiving.
Yeah. It's stupid. I mean, I loved it. I just wasn't... I wanted more of it. Like, I had to go through a lot of pain to fill up that bar. I didn't want to just give it up so quick.
I didn't. I had one of the assault rifles to where if I just unloaded... I had like 900 bullets in one of the assault rifles, and I just unloaded enemies, and it went up pretty quickly. I think it was whenever you fight... It's whenever they're like... Maya tells you, like, oh, these guys are the only guys in the building, so don't die too quickly, which happened anyways. I'm hiding in a corner just shooting this one. It's like a worm where like its mouth opens up and it shoots out fireballs.
Those are terrible.
And I was just in the corner just shooting this guy who's doing no damage, going, please go up, Liberation. Please go up just a little bit more.
That was one of my problems. I just didn't get enough Liberation. And then in the final fight, you're just in Liberation mode, which really reminded me of Dirge of Cerberus again, where you get to use your special limit break mode for the whole fight. I almost died in this fight. I was at a sliver of health when I finally beat him, after I had to reload a couple times my save states.
I died and came back with revive, so I was able to.
I think I did that too.
Because they just have too much health. I mean, that's really, again, one of my complaints, that enemies have a lot of freaking health in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And the final boss is no different. So I actually beat this game Monday and we recorded Bioshock. I was actually watching half the ending. I had to stop so we could go record and then go back and finish the ending. The ending's kind of weird. The ending is where they explain everything that's happened in the game.
Yeah, you could have watched the beginning of this game, watched that like the 2-year time or the 2-year skip, and then watch the ending and been fine.
Or just don't play it.
It is kind of odd how the only time that you find out the entire story of the game is at the end of the game.
I guess there's hints like Liberation mode isn't what it used to be, and I guess her freaking out, because that, you know, like we said, it does make more sense at the beginning why she's like so scared of everything and all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. There is that weird moment which threw me completely off guard, which doesn't, like, I swear they wrote this ending like after they were like halfway done with the game, because there's a part where Kyle's talking to Aya on the roof and he's like, I recognize everything about you, and then you think later on and it's like, wait.
It's just a weird game.
It's a weird game.
I mean, as I'm making the joke in the ending. So in the ending, is when Maya finally ends up seeing Aya. She remembers what happened in the wedding shooting when Maya was killed, or when Aya was shot, and she jumped in Aya's body that caused all this problem. And like, you take control. I think you're supposed to like shoot Aya or something in the wedding dress as Aya, but Aya takes control of her own body for the first time all game and shoots the hell out of the fake Revolver Ocelot guy I keep calling, which is like the guy that's in the beginning of the game helping you. And that's the only time that Aya is involved in the entire game. And I think by her shooting him, she changes everything, or she comes back. I didn't really understand what the hell was going on.
So what ends up happening is, during, I hate that I know the story so well. I'm so sorry.
It's good, because at least someone knows.
So what happened was, I wish I had on camera so y'all can see me pound my fist together like fake Revolver Ocelot does. So when Maya jumps in Aya's body, she ends up destroying her soul, but she makes all the people around her high ones and then creates a Twisted. In this new ending, when it's totally a different voice actress, which I think is interesting, and I feel bad for whoever this woman has like 5 lines of dialogue in this whole game. They end up, what is it? So their souls collided, which made it Twisted. So in the actual ending, where you actually change the future, surprisingly, even though they tell you every 5 minutes in the beginning you can't change the past or the future, they switch bodies. So Maya is in Aya's body and Aya is in Maya's body, and you kill her so she no longer has to live for no reason that's never explained, and the Twisted are never created.
Oh,
and
yourself, there's something else I gotta read after.
You yourself as a character, which I know y'all both play Parasite Eve. I don't have that deep of a connection with it, but it still sounds messed up. You yourself have to kill your favorite person, which is Aya.
So dumb.
And apparently, because you're doing this, you went back to time 0. You're actually in the scene when it actually happened, and that's when you kill Boar. So you stop the whole game from happening.
Yes.
I didn't realize that you go back in time and you erase the entire game that you just got done playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still had to play it though.
And apparently, I'm going to read this paragraph from Wikipedia because I have to read it. It'll make absolutely no sense. So apparently in 2010 at St. Thompson's Cathedral, Aya and Kyle were going to be married. The cathedral was attacked by a SWAT team and Aya was killed. Eve attempted to save Aya by sending her consciousness into Aya's body, creating the overdrive ability. The event caused Aya's consciousness to separate from her body and fragment through time to create the Twisted. Eve's consciousness became trapped in Aya's body, while parts of Eve's body were transplanted to the people close to them, creating high ones. The Aya of the main story is in fact Eve in Aya's body. After these revelations, Eve returns to her body, I guess that's Maya, and is attacked asked by Boar to assimilate him and trigger the birth of a new species. Eve refuses, and when Boar tries to force the process of reborn, Aya shoots him to death. Aya then reveals that to her avert the birth of the Twisted and High Ones, the source, Aya and Eve must be removed. Expressing her regret of not being able to marry Kyle, she tells Eve to shoot her in a fit of emotion. Eve switches body with Aya before shooting her, creating a new timeline where Eve's body, Aya's consciousness do not exist, erasing the game's events. Though Eve offers to marry Kyle, he refuses and hints that he is going to find Aya. In a post-credit sequence, which I did not see, 4 years after the game events, Eve is walking the streets of New York and is wished happy 4th birthday by a woman resembling Aya. What the fuck?
Yeah, I keep hearing about that scene. I could not find it anywhere on YouTube.
Probably because Square Enix went, nope, kick that off of YouTube.
I like how you said you preface that by I have to read this or it won't make sense. Like that was going to fix everything.
I mean, he did, paraphrase most of that, which I didn't realize. I thought it was something more to it. And as I was reading it out loud, I'm like, okay, I didn't need to say all this. But the fact, like, that ending, I sat there for the credits, I thought. I don't think I just, maybe, because I got the maid costume, but that makes no sense. So happy, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was supposed to be, I guess, a teaser for like, ooh, we might make another one, and it never happened.
Yeah, we're not getting, this series is dead now.
Maybe we'll get
Square
a soft
Enix
reboot.
Only makes sequels to games if the creator sticks around long enough. Like, we'll never get another Chrono Trigger, but we keep getting more Saga games, and apparently the creator of Saga still works for Squaresoft, or Square Enix. That's what I've heard, at least. That was some rumor somebody else, one of the podcasts listened to it, once said, made a comment about this game. All right, anything else we should say about this weird-ass game before we go on to questions, comments, or memories?
Do you actually have some?
Yes, I do, actually. I mean, if this episode doesn't make any sense, I apologize. This game doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just you.
It's just here to finish off the trilogy.
Yeah, pretty much. Or start a new one, whichever direction they were going.
Again, you could just reboot this, call it Parasite Eve something, and just give me more Aya. Okay, that's all I want. I just want more Aya.
Aya.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so I posted in 4 different groups. First, from the Overblood group, I got nothing. From the, let's see what other groups I posted, and I posted in Parasite Eve Grimoire of Horror. I got 5 likes, no comments.
Cool.
In the Parasite Eve group, I actually got a bunch. So I was surprised. So thank you, Parasite Eve group. Thank you for coming through and giving me something to read on this episode, because I didn't think anybody was going to give me any comments. First one from Chris Axe. I repressed all my memories of this game.
That's the way to do it.
From Gnomes Jahanta. It's a fun game, bro. Nothing superior to the classic, but it's fun. Okay. From Marcos Lugo. Good game, especially the start and end are great, more a part of the twisted ones. All right. From Beno Adam. Need explanation of association system. This needs a full tutorial. Association system, I'm assuming, is that whole thing with the genes that we talked about.
Okay. I didn't realize that was what it was called.
I didn't either. From Ben Nielsen. I'm also about to start it. I love the PS1 games, but only just got something to emulate this one on. My condolences, sir. My condolences. Oh, yeah. Wow. From Francisco Rodriguez. I personally liked it better than 2.
It's low bar.
Me too. And this one from Charlie Rosas. Okay, the stunts are some complicated, and to get all the suits is an eternity. Hey, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
From Conella Parkhea. The ending sucked. You're not wrong. And the last group, I did get some from the Giant Bomb group. I was not expecting anybody to comment Giant Bomb. So, but okay, got a couple to read. From Zachariah Smith, I missed this game. I guess there's no other way to play it. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. There are other ways to play it, but that's okay.
It's never going to get a re-release.
Oh, no.
I'm sure there's rights issues, too, with it.
I wish they at least re-release the first one. Remake
Release
it,
the first 2.
Let me play it on my PS4.
Yeah, don't do the whole Final Fantasy VII remake. Just make it prettier, and it's fine.
You don't even need to make it prettier. Just re-release it.
I would love a full Parasite Eve Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, from Andrew Rafosky. Oh god, fuck very part of this game. It legitimately retroactively ruins Aya forever, with the ending so hard that unless they ignore this game or hard reboot, Parasite Eve is dead forever. Okay, and this is from Des Fleming. This game is amazing. He's joking, by the way. Okay. His next comment right underneath it is, I've never seen a game actively destroy its own series and hate its fan base this much.
I'm sure there's something. I could think of if I really put my mind to it. But yeah, this one is it's pretty up there.
And from Taylor Smith, just go read the Parasite Eve book instead. It's unrelated to the 3rd birthday, but it's a hell of a lot better.
Isn't that what the first game's based on?
First game is a sequel to the book.
Yeah.
I actually heard that the book's really good, and I went to Amazon, and I could get it by the Kindle version for $10, or I can buy the hardcover for $375.
Decisions.
Oh my god. And last one I'm going to read from Adonis Table. When I think about games that should have been good, I think of this. Metroid Other M and Alien Colonial Marines.
Oh man. This and Other M are cut from the same cloth.
They came out the same year.
There you go.
I tried really hard not to bring that up because like this game's just pretty much other end. But yeah, like
oh yeah, there's one that kind of craps on its own fan base.
I just it's as much as I did have fun playing this game, it kind of hurts me that one of my favorite games from PS1 was trampled and created this series that doesn't go anywhere.
Two started it, so you can't hold this one.
2, I blame 2 for me just not playing it right and not enjoying it because I wasn't playing it the way, because I watched speedruns of it. I watched people play it and they were not having any of the issues. Even the speedrun was doing better than I was, and he wasn't leveling like I was. So there was something I was completely missing in 2.
I might have to go back and try it again. Yeah, Gunblade is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I actually might want to end up like getting an emulator and playing these at work while I'm bored. So
I can help you with that. I help you with how to get emulators. We're just not going to talk about it here.
But, oh yeah.
All right. I think that about wraps up this. I think we should go to shelf, stack, or box. Anything else you want to say, Mike?
I don't think we need all those options for the.
You're right. We'll go to shelf or shelf. All right. So, Mike, what about you?
I was going in the box.
I'm sorry, it wasn't an option. It was shelf or shelf, you said.
Okay. Is the shelf in the box? Like, it could have been fun. I remember liking it the first time just because, like I said, I don't give a shit about story, so I skipped all the cutscenes and whatever. Combat's generic, but just go play 1. It's good. It's better. If you want a game where you just run in and fight a bunch of enemies, you go into the next room, fight a bunch of enemies, play X-Men Destiny. It's better than this.
All I can think of right now is that meme from Baron Zemo on the plane. He's right, but it's crazy.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Yes. That's all I can think of, because you're not wrong, but X-Men Destiny is not a good game.
It's a better game.
It's an X-Men game.
It's fine.
Is it an X-Men game? I don't know. It's just a game with mutants. It's not an X-Men game. There's no X-Men in that game, really. Well,
go back and listen to that episode. It's a good one.
I'll go next. So originally this game was going to go on the shelf. I was having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I was even kept messing with Mike last week or when we were talking. And I'm like, I really like the game. He's like, shut up. Yeah. And
you just want to be contrarian. I don't appreciate it.
No, I actually was having fun. I actually really enjoyed myself. I got into it like twice. This happened when I was playing Third Birthday, which I hadn't mentioned yet. I lost track of time, which doesn't happen to me. I'm usually very good about, okay, I got an hour to play a game. I got to go to work. An hour. I got this to do this. I wouldn't stop playing. I was late to 2 different things. I think I was late to a recording because I just didn't stop playing the game. I was late to go to bed because I just wouldn't stop playing. I was almost late to work because I just wouldn't stop playing. I was having so much fun. And I was like, God, this game is really good. And then I got to chapter 5 when they decided to crank up the difficulty and ways that enemies didn't die, and I wasn't having fun anymore. Because I'm playing a game on easy. I don't want a challenge. I just want to shoot things, have fun, move on. But the fact that the story is so just fuckery, I think there's no better word for it, and the fact that killed a series that I want to see more of, I can't put this game on the shelf. It was going there, but then and the fact that all the suits are unlockable and they're all just called, if you're a hornball, here, play this. So I gotta put this game in the stack because I had fun, but it wasn't good enough to go on the shelf. But it's a series I really like, so it's going in the stack. How about you?
Okay.
It's going to GameStop so I can give me something else.
They don't take PSP games anymore.
Back in the day they did, and that's what I did with it. So
there you go.
So you can't see it, but I have my copy.
Oh, I still got mine somewhere.
Nobody can see, but the copy is right in my hands. Oh, I bought this game new for $10 at GameStop.
I think I did too.
That's a good price.
Yeah, that's not a bad price for this.
Wow, I didn't realize I bought this game new. Hey, I even still have the product registration. I have the code in here for Lightning.
Oh my god.
Better use it before they shut down the stores.
I don't have a PSP though. So yeah, I bought this game new for $10. Apparently, I was so excited to play this game.
Yeah, that doesn't make it right.
I do like our fourth option, GameStop. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I have to remember that.
This is, I think I did enjoy this game more than I enjoyed 2 though.
Oh yeah,
but that's partly.
I really need to go back and try 2 again. I just remember I played 1 for the first time and I loved it. I'm like, I gotta go back to 2. And like, oh god, what did they do?
I mean, we talked about replaying 1 for the show.
Yeah, we'll get
that's a commitment I'm not so sure I want to make it.
I'll make it happen.
So Mike, why don't you introduce what we're talking about next week? Because it's completely your fault.
We're playing Cubivore for the GameCube. It's a good one.
I love how we go from a classic game, BioShock, and then we play Third Birthday and then Cubivore.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
That's okay. You don't need to. You don't need to ever hear of it.
Well, at least the week after, people will know that one.
All right. And Joe, do you have anything to promote? Because I forgot to ask that earlier.
Not at the moment. So.
Okay. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you want to hear what we think about Parasite Eve, or at least what I think of Parasite Eve, because Mike was not on the show yet. Episode 23, we covered the first Parasite Eve, which is a great episode. It's actually one of our top 10 episodes people who listen to all the time. So check that out, because that game is great. And go play that game. Don't play this. Play that game.
Fun fact, since I was listening to y'all's podcast so I could get ready for it, I had to turn off y'all's Parasite Eve podcast because it was more interesting than Third Birthday.
Okay, hey, it's a good episode. One of the co-hosts on that episode beat the game in 10 minutes before we started recording because he procrastinated.
Yeah, and there's a moment that I don't want to spoil, so we'll talk about it after we're done recording. So
okay, so definitely go check that out. And we also covered Parasite Eve 2, episode 76. So 2 before you joined, Mike.
Yeah, I dodged a bullet there.
Not this bullet though. And there's a good chance that down the road, at some point, me and Mike are going to record a retrospective about the Parasite Eve series.
Yep.
I'm going to say it here because we have to do it then. So we talked about it because we want to do retrospective when we finish series. Nothing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say something. I cut you off.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's all I need to say about Parasite Eve. So if you enjoyed this episode, please go check out the other Parasite Eve episodes and check out all their other content. We have 120-something episodes, 126 other episodes besides this that are game related, and we have minis, so more games. We do comics, we do films. We are going to be MCU, and the time you're hearing this, Black Panther should have just came out not too long ago. So definitely go check out what 3 white guys have to say about Black Panther. It's a good episode, actually. I was definitely go check those out. I want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, aka Mike Stoney from ZP Bite to Bullet. And if you want to help us out, we do have a Patreon now, and we do have a poll for our first pilot test episode. So definitely all you gotta do is throw us $1. You can vote for our, and we're gonna do more polls. We're gonna do more things with Patreon. So I'm just starting. So definitely go check that out. You will see a link in the show notes. And please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where I post screenshots of what's coming up, what games are going to be coming on the show. Definitely go check all those out. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.